Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most jaw-dropping deaths in the Final Destination franchise.
So who's next?
For this list, we've excluded the premonitions and ranked each stomach-churning demise based on its chills, thrills, humor, irony, and overall execution. Pun intended. Number 20, Valerie Luton. Fire, kitchen knives, house explosions. This scene has one of the best Rube Goldberg chain of events. While we like to think we're safe in our homes, Miss Luton's death proves that the Reaper can find you anywhere. After short-circuiting a computer and leaving a trail of flammable liquid across the floor, she inadvertently signs her death certificate. To make matters worse, she had just phoned the police on the film's protagonist before he could warn her of her impending doom.
This is Valerie Luton. I need Agent Shrek.
Bad call, Val. Number 19, Isaac Palmer. This next scene takes place in a serene massage parlor. Seems relaxing. What could go wrong? Well, a lot. This sleazeball has his first taste of pain comedically doled out by the masseuse, who inadvertently damages the table in the process. When it later collapses, Isaac is sent tumbling directly onto the acupuncture needles placed in his body. After surviving this human pincushion moment and a close call with a propellant, his luck finally runs out thanks to a precariously placed ornamental Buddha. Number 18, Andy Cuser. Oh, Andy, so confident about his odds with such eager last words.
Well, I guess it's not my turn to die.
You'd think surviving a stadium disaster and watching his girlfriend get obliterated by a tire would have him a bit more shaken up. When a group of harbingers comes to warn you that you're in danger, maybe you should take a look around.
Your life's in danger, and I think you're gonna die.
3 of the people who left that stadium before that accident happened, they're now dead.
Death's trap was already laid in the highly hazardous car shop he works at. So after taking a ride on a flying CO2 tank, he's turned into Swiss cheese by some seriously heavy-duty fencing. That cannot be OSHA approved. Number 17, Samantha Lane. Referred to in the credits as MILF/Samantha, this character was a bit of an afterthought. Her death, however, was not. All it takes is an unstable salon chair and a pair of scissors far too close to the eye, and we're already cringing. Add in the scraping under her toes and the fan that's threatening to fall on her head, and you have a true nail-biter. Despite the number of setups, nothing in the salon actually kills her. After telling her kids,
"I've got my eye on you two,"
it's a lawnmower-propelled rock through the eye that makes that statement all the more earnest. Number 16, Todd Wagner. Despite being the protagonist's best friend, Todd is shockingly killed off first in one of the most agonizing deaths of the series. Nicking himself on a razor should have been the worst part of his night, but death has other plans. In one of the only instances where we see some sort of spectral manifestation, it becomes clear that Todd isn't alone in that bathroom. He slips on leaking toilet water and gets strung up by the clothesline in the tub. The scissors needed to cut the rope just a fingertip away. Even sadder, it's eventually ruled that he took his own life, so death really went out of its way to make this one as heart-wrenching as possible.
You caused Todd so much guilt over George staying on the plane, he took his own life. No.
Number 15, Frankie Cheeks. What makes this creep's freakish fatality unique is that we don't even realize he's the unlucky guy in the front of the drive-thru who just had a car engine catapulted into the back of his head until it's already happened. The camera is focused on the main characters as they desperately try to avoid a runaway truck, and the crash claims Frankie without us even knowing he was initially there.
Come on, pull up!
Number 14, Rory Peters. Earning the first double kill in the series, poor Rory didn't manage to split in time. We had dropped our guard since Kat was just taken out by a pipe. But don't count out Death's desire to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Her lit cigarette sets off a chain reaction that literally splits Rory in 3. One of the most visually gnarly casualties. And just like that, we're oddly afraid of fences. Number 13, Terry Chaney. If there's one thing you should always be on the lookout for in a Final Destination film, it's a character's painfully ironic final words. In Terry's case,
"Then you can just drop dead."
And she does just that. The series' first blindside kill, Terry is splattered by a bus that comes speeding out of nowhere. But if you were paying attention, there are quite a few signs that she should have looked both ways. Number 12, Sam Lawton and Molly Harper. The most meta deaths in the franchise, Sam and Molly think they've conquered Death's design, only to find themselves in the midst of the catastrophic event that set the first movie into motion.
Come on, Brad! Get on the punk! Get on the
It's a surprising twist that turns the fifth film into an unexpected prequel, and the entire sequence is utterly gut-wrenching. Because we already know Flight 180 is doomed, we can only sit back and watch our main characters suffer their cosmic fates. Number 11, Laurie Milligan. Okay, we said we weren't including premonition deaths, but we were technically referring to the opening accidents. The seer in The Final Destination experiences an extended vision of a mall disaster at the end of the movie. During the climax, Laurie is sucked into a collapsing escalator, previously foreshadowed by her shoelace being caught in it.
Ow! Ow!
When the visionary wakes up from his dream, he does manage to save her from being swallowed by the gears, but the damage has already been done for everyone who's hesitated to step on an escalator since. Number 10, Evan Lewis. Ah, the kitchen, where a host of things can kill you. Hand-hungry garbage disposal? Check. Stove fire? Check. Exploding microwave? Ding. All of the possibilities are teased. In a clever moment, Death's invisible forces clue you in by dropping the H magnet of the Hey E from the fridge to spell I. Tossing that spaghetti out the window was a slip-up, Evan, and Death does not take kindly to litter bugs.
Jesus Christ!
Number 9, Olivia Castle. Surgery is always scary, but throw in lasers and restricted head movement and the fright factor is multiplied tenfold.
Is that supposed to be happening?
Having your eye in a vice can be disconcerting, so the scene plays with this uncomfortable knowledge through its dark lighting and creeping pace. In a twist, it's not the melted eyeball that causes Olivia's death, but a slip on the eye of the teddy bear she'd been gripping for comfort. We're starting to notice a lot of eyeball irony. Number 8, Ian McKinley. Since we never really see the Grim Reaper, each film tends to opt for a secondary human antagonist. In this case, Ian McKinley goads audiences into salivating for his splendid expiration.
Oh, no way. Do I cause your death?
The dramatic dialogue during the film's climactic showdown sizzles like the fireworks that are primed to take someone out.
It skipped me! For me, it is over. I'm not dying.
Just when it seems Ian has truly managed to dodge Death's draft and shift the evil energy to our leading lady,
I'm not gonna die! It's you, Wendy! You're dead!
a cherry picker picks him off. Number 7, Tim Carpenter. The Dentist's Office. Kamikaze pigeons. Two things nobody is fond of.
How many times am I gonna have to replace those goddamn windows?
Tim has one of the first death scenes that takes us to a location already full of anxiety and dread. It's no laughing matter when a plastic fish falls into Tim's open mouth, and the laughing gas has rendered him too woozy to do anything about it. Even though we don't expect him to get out of the dentist chair alive, he does. But Death flat out doesn't take kindly to intervention. Number 6, Billy Hitchcock. When Billy's fear and paranoia get a little too intense,
You're dead! You're dead! And you ain't taking me with you!
Death wastes no time in using a piece of shrapnel to chop his head off with the grace and precision of a Ginsu blade. What makes this simple kill special is the fact that a few lives were saved mere moments before, so our collective relief for the characters dies just as suddenly as Billy. Number 5, Candace Hooper. When your lucky bracelet snaps right before a high-risk activity, maybe just sit it out. Remembered mostly for the folded pretzel Candace is reduced to, this scene takes advantage of an excellent principle in suspense, the misdirect. We are so focused on the screw she's unknowingly dodging on the beam that we don't consider the real threat, a sudden dismount from the bar causing the evisceration of her spine. In a brilliant bit of foreshadowing, the chills she gets when she powders up are well warranted, because it's ultimately the powder that causes her not-so-graceful landing to quote-unquote stick. Number 4, Hunt Wynorski. Speaking of lucky objects, Hunt's good luck quarter factors into his death as well. A pool drain is one of those ordinary devices that seems harmless. Well, just as long as the PSIG gauge doesn't reach a dangerously high number while you're swimming at the bottom of the deep end. There's a lot of what-ifs here. Like, what if your tail end got stuck against the powerful drain? Could you drown? Could you have your internal organs sucked out through your bottom? In Hunt's case, it's pretty much a coin toss. Number 3, Nora Carpenter. While most deaths in the franchise happen to generally unlikable characters, we don't really want good-natured Nora to die. She's already lost her husband, and her son was just turned into a pancake before her eyes. The idea of a falling elevator is already a common phobia. But most viewers didn't account for the version of events where one's head can be caught between the doors and then popped off as the elevator ascends. If you now move swiftly in and out of elevators, we do not blame you. Number 2, Aaron Ulmer. Aaron's gruesome undoing is Final Destination at its best. The characters are hanging around a closed home improvement store, full of countless dangerous objects that could kill them. Suspense builds as a series of unfortunate events slowly unfold. All the while, the characters are debating the merits of death's design and how their untimely destiny could be avoided.
Newton says that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, that means that if death has taken action, so can we.
Adding to the tension, even the protagonists are unsure who's next on Death's list.
Okay, so who's next in this theory you have, me or Ian?
Well, we know the order of how we were sitting on the roller coaster, but not how it works with people who sat together.
When they save Ian from tumbling lumber, it's poor Aaron who will have to pay the toll via modified nail gun to the back of the head. Needless to say, the writers really nailed this one. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Ashley Freund and Ashlyn Halperin. It is the definitive Final Destination sequence that traumatized a generation. As if the long-term health effects of too much tanning weren't scary enough, Death has a much more immediate plan for Airheads Ashley and Ashlyn.
It's way too warm in here now, huh?
Most characters meet their maker rather abruptly, but these two receive a torturously prolonged departure. Only Death would come up with something as convoluted as the beds overheating because of an errant slushie, then a small breeze from the exhaust causing a coat rack to tumble, knocking down a bookshelf that ultimately traps the girls in their inevitable tombs. Once the beds burst into flames, there's nowhere to go, leaving us with the series' most horrifying death imaginable. Final Destination kills are most effective when they make us think twice about doing something routine. So it's no wonder this countdown is going out in a blaze of glory, with the tanning bed scene that still haunts us to this day. Do you agree with our list? Which Final Destination deaths made you squeal, scream, and squirm? Let us know below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.